Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So now that She-Hulk is officially over, I thought I would do a video ranking all 8 of the Marvel Phase 4 TV shows. Alright, before we get into it, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button if you like the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more Marvel reviews. And if you want to help support and grow the channel, you can check the link down in the description below. You can buy me a cup of coffee. Alright, let's get into my rankings of the MCU shows of Phase 4. So I just want to start off by saying I actually like all of the shows that we've gotten so far. I don't hate any of them. I think some I definitely love. Some I think are just okay. And that's kind of where I think most of them are at. So coming in at number 8, unfortunately, is going to be Hawkeye. So I kind of like Hawkeye. I think it does have a few problems, mainly the villains with the tracksuit mafia. And they just kind of have a lot of picking things up, dropping things. They don't really the plot doesn't really makes a whole lot of sense and go anywhere. But I really do like Kate Bishop. I really love seeing Yelena pop back up. And I really like kind of dealing with Clint Barton and his family situation and the loss of his hearing, sort of the effects that being an Avenger has had on him. I don't think they set up the Echo character very well. I think the finale was kind of lackluster. So for those reasons, it's coming in at number 8. Number 7 is going to be the What If animated show. I really like this show. It had a couple of really good episodes. I like the Captain Carter episode. I like the episode where Hank Pym kills the Avengers. And I like the Doctor Strange episode. And the Ultron stuff's pretty cool. But there's also some forgettable stuff there. And I think that, like the Hawkeye show, when you look back, you kind of just forget the show happened a little bit. So for those reasons, it's going to come in at number 7. But I do really enjoy it. And I like the animation style a lot. Number 6 is going to be Moon Knight. Now, I was really looking forward to Moon Knight as the episodes went on. I didn't know anything about this character, so I was kind of hoping that we would get to know the character of Moon Knight. I think for a lot of hardcore Moon Knight fans, it didn't work as well because it did a whole lot of heavy adaptation. But my problem mainly with the Moon Knight show is I think the first 2 episodes could have been combined into one episode. Episodes 3 and 4, the Indiana Jones Adventure in Egypt, those could have been combined into one episode, and then we could have had another episode in between those, and then an episode in between episode 5 and episode 6 to really kind of build out the show. I think we could have had a whole episode of just the mercenary mission that Mark had to go on that led him to meeting Khonshu and becoming the Moon Knight. That could have been a whole episode on its own. I think we could have done a lot more with the Layla character, and we could have just kind of expanded the world and really kind of brought the supernatural into the MCU a bit better, and it kind of explained how it all fits in. I don't think they did a very good job. There's giant Egyptian avatar gods fighting in front of the pyramids of Giza, and nobody really cares. So for those problems, I can't rank the show too high, but I thought Oscar Isaac did a great job. I thought Ethan Hawke was a great villain, so I did enjoy the Moon Knight show, and I hope that we get to see more of him going forward. Coming in at number 5, most recently, is going to be She-Hulk. So unfortunately, I can't rank this show any higher. I really did enjoy the show overall, kind of looking back on it. I really thought the first 3 to 4 episodes were solid, and I really enjoyed episode with Daredevil, and even the finale was kind of pretty good. But those middle episodes, 5, 6, 7, were just really downer filler episodes that I thought just didn't really do too much with the story. The Titania as a villain was terrible. I mean, I still don't know why she burst into the courtroom at the end of the first episode. And there's really could have really done something good with the character, made her the sort of foil, the sort of mirror reflection anti-Gen, but they just didn't. And then ultimately, when we saw in the finale, the Hulk King doesn't really pay off. But I did love all the cameos, and I do love Jen as a character, and I do love all the lawyer characters. I just wish we kind of maybe focused the show a bit more on that. But overall, I still really enjoyed the show. I definitely will probably rewatch it again. And looking back, I thought it was a lot of fun at times, but it did have that disappointing middle section. So unfortunately, I can't rank it higher than number 5. So at number 4, and this was a tough one. Again, these middle rankings are kind of tough because, again, I really do like the Disney Plus Marvel shows that we've gotten. So number 4 is going to be Loki. And I remember looking back on it, I don't look fondly on the Loki show, but my husband reminded me that as the show was happening, we were very excited to watch the new episodes of Loki and that we really enjoyed it and thought it was funny. And I tend to forget those kind of moments because I kind of look back on Loki and think about what it introduced us to, the TVA, the variants, He Who Remains, and I look back at that and say, well, none of that has paid off and is not going to really pay off until we get to Phase 6, and I just feel like maybe Loki came out too early. I know we're getting a Loki Season 2, but again, even that feels almost too early if we're not paying things off until Avengers Kang Dynasty, and I just think that they should have followed up Loki with something else that involved the TVA or variants and really kind of explained all of that and how it fits into the MCU, which has sort of been the problem of Phase 4 in general, of just introducing things all at once and not kind of slowly building it, and then we're not going to see any of this happen until Phase 6. So I did like the Loki show. I thought it had a lot of good moments. I liked the first couple episodes and the last episode for sure. Didn't really care about the Sylvie character, unfortunately, but I did like Owen Wilson's character, and so I think overall Loki was a success, but I think it maybe came out too early compared to what it's trying to set up. So for that reason, I got to rank it a little bit lower than I think most people do, at number 4. Alright, so number 3 is going to be Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And this could probably swap with Loki depending on my rewatch of all these shows and how I feel about them going forward. But I do like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I was very excited for the show. And I thought the problem with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I thought, was the villains. The Flag Smashers weren't very well set up, and they didn't have good enough motives for me to actually care about them trying to achieve their goals. But I did like everything with, the arc that Bucky had and the arc that Sam had, and Zemo and Sharon, all that stuff was great. And, even kind of what they did with John Walker, U.S. Agent, at the end, I thought turned the character around. So I really look back on that show and I remember it being very good. So for that, I think it comes in at number 3. And I am kind of excited to see where they go with these characters in the future MCU with Captain America New World Order and the Thunderbolts that's going to have Bucky. So I think that show did a good job of setting up where these characters are going to go in the future. But I think the villains are the weakest part of that show, unfortunately. Alright, so number 2 is probably no surprise, but for me it's going to have to be Miss Marvel. I loved Miss Marvel. I thought it was a fun show. I loved the family. Thought they were so charming. I love seeing Kamala's powers on screen. I thought that was awesome. They also had a problem where the villains were terrible. The clandestine were not good villains. And also, the other problem with Miss Marvel is the confusing power set. Because she's, her great-grandmother was from the Nord dimension, but those powers in this world are very ill-defined with the clandestine. But then the Bangle unlocks her powers, but then also she's part mutant, so that inherently gives her some powers. So it's very confusing on where her powers are all coming from. Is it like a combination thing? I hope we get a follow-up to the Bangle and the Nord dimension and everything. So overall I just thought the show was great, and because it had me laughing and it had me enjoying these charming characters, I could overlook some of those flaws. But it definitely did have some flaws with the villains and the power set for sure, very confusing. But I'm thinking we'll get some of that paid off in future films, specifically the Marvels movie. And I would love to see her great-grandmother Aisha come back again. That was a great flashback episode. But there was a couple bad episodes in there, but overall I really loved the Miss Marvel character, and I can't wait to see her return in the Marvels, so for that, comes in at number 2. Alright, so number 1, of course, is going to be WandaVision. I loved WandaVision. It was the first MCU show out of the gate, and it's still the best MCU show. I just think it nailed it. First off, I love Elizabeth Olsen in this role as Wanda. I think she does a great job. Paul Bettany's great as Vision. The supporting cast, we brought back Darcy, we brought back Jimmy Woo, we got an older version of Monica Rambeau, and it kind of gave us a little bit of a glimpse of life in the MCU post Endgame, which was really cool. And then the whole idea of Wanda having created this world to try and deal with her grief of losing everything, and then at the end she ends up having to sacrifice that, I thought was a really great story to tell. They kind of ruined it with Doctor Strange 2, but that's okay. We'll get to that another day. But WandaVision as its own is great. I thought Kathryn Hahn was amazing as Agatha Harkness. I thought she did a great job. I'm looking forward to her show, Agatha Coven of Chaos. So, yeah, Wanda to me is still the best of the MCU shows. I'm also somebody who enjoys sitcoms, and so I really appreciated them going from different sitcoms eras. I thought that was really cool. Some people might not appreciate that, but I thought the way they did it was a lot of fun. So for me, I love WandaVision. That's my #1 favorite MCU show currently, and I don't know if it's ever going to get beat. I was hoping maybe She-Hulk might be a running contender, but it wasn't. So yeah, so for now, WandaVision's still the best MCU show so far, at least of Phase 4. We'll see. I'm hearing good things about Secret Invasion, so we'll see where the shows go. I think they need to work on the format still. I think WandaVision did it really good because it did have 9 episodes, and then, like I said, each episode was its own different thing, and I think that really worked with the pacing of the show. They definitely need to work on making the seasons a little bit longer and really kind of tightening that narrative to fit over the seasons. Yeah, I'm hoping that the Disney Plus shows will get better from here on out, but so far those are going to be my rankings of the Marvel Disney Plus shows of Phase 4. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, my name's Ashley, and I've been burdened with glorious purpose. Bye.